the three concepts of Buddha. The first one, it is Buddha. The second one, it is Dhamma. And the third, Sangha. Start writing. Buddha means here the leader. Dhamma here means Dharma. Sangha here means the organization. So Buddha emphasis on three concepts. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So what does the meaning of the Buddha mean? Meaning the enlightened leader. So what is Buddha saying? Surrender yourself to the enlightened leader. Say for example, today, who is the Buddha in India? Today, Dalai Lama. So if I am a Buddhist, I surrender myself to the Buddha. So Buddha says, after me, the next Buddha would come. The next Buddha would come because it's a doctrine, it's an organization. So whenever each Buddha enters, a Buddhist has to surrender himself or herself to the Buddha. That's what Buddha calls. So the Buddha. Here when I see Buddha, it's not Siddhartha. It's not Gautama Buddha. It's the Buddha. So today who's the Buddha? Dalai Lama. Have you heard this term? Buddham Charanam Gacchami. I take refuge in the feet of Buddha. Which means I surrender myself to the Buddha. Whoever is the current Buddha. So Buddha died at the age of 80. When Buddha died, after him, the next Buddha would have come. The next leader would have come. He would have been called as the Buddha. Then after him, the next Buddha would have come. So today we have Dalai Lama as the Buddha, not God, the leader. That's what it is. So the first one, Buddha. Second one, Dhamma. Dhamma is the organization. Dhamma is where a Buddhist has to follow the path of righteousness. Come what may, a Buddhist should follow the path of Dhamma. Getting and what is Dhamma? Duty to one's own self, duty to others. Third one, Sangha. Sangha is the organization. And the Sangha has got rules and regulations for the monks. Sangha has got rules and regulation for the monk. A male monk was called as Bhikshu, and a female monk. A male monk was called Bhikshu, and a female monk was called Bhikshuni. Bhikshuni, Bhikshu, Bhikkhuni, Bhikkhu. You get Bhikkhu also, Bhikku, Bhikkhu. Bhikkhu, different terminology. Ma. So getting it, Bhikshu, Bhikshuni. So Bhikkhu is a male monk, Bhikshu, female monk. So can we say Gautami is Bhikshuni? Ananda and Upali is Bhikkhu. Buddha himself was a Bhikshu, Bhikkhu. So these are the terms. So every monk, the first rule, I told you some examples on the other day. The first rule is whenever a person decides to become a monk, he has to shave off his hair. So should they carry a water bottle? Yes, they should carry water bottle, razor. I told you some bags. Like they have to carry some, salt, sugar, all of them. So which means whenever you travel to help others. So that was insisted by Buddha. So that is what Buddha says. Sangha. You have to wake up early in the morning in the Sangha. Sangha, it's like they wake up at 4 o'clock. You wake up early, you sleep early. They'll have 2 meals only. 2 full meal they'll have. They'll not eat like us for 3 times or 6 times. No. So they take lots of protein. They take lots of carb. So there's some sort of rule what a Buddhist monk should do. Then there's some sort of exercise. There's some sort of, meditation. It's like a monastic life. So what to do, how to drape that monastic dress. All those were given there in the Sangha. So whenever a person enters the Sangha, a Buddhist monk has to refer. Remember I told you about Amrapali, about Gautami. You have to give a reference that I put them into the Sangha. So Buddha said a Buddhist should follow these 3. You should not violate it. Just remember, these are small ones, 3 concepts. Next, moving on to the next one. The 4 cardinal virtues. 4 cardinal virtues in Buddhism. So what are the 4 cardinal virtues in Buddhism? The first one, Maitri. Second one, Karuna. Third one, Mudita. And fourth one, Upeksha. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Learn them in order. So these are all Pali terms, not Sanskrit terms. So Buddha says 4 cardinal virtues to be followed by a Buddhist. So what is cardinal? Cardiac, cardinal, close to heart. Something. And what is virtue? Do you get virtue from birth? Virtues you practice. Virtues you don't get it from birth. So you practice these virtues. A Buddhist should practice these virtues. The first virtue, Maitri. What is Maitri? Love all. So Buddha insists on to love all. Unconditional love towards everyone. So you see anyone in life, how do you see them? I love them. So here love all is a very positive note. I'm not talking about the romantic love. Are you getting it? So we are talking about, when you look at someone, we say that I love you, which means unconditional love towards other. You see a donkey, love you. Monkey, love you. You see anyone, love you. Why? A Buddhist should love. So he should be a giver. So how do you show your love? You just say I love you. How do you show your love? Gestures. What do you do? Action. Tell me, what do you do? Taking care. Example, I don't know. By gestures, I'm a poor layman. I don't know what you speak. So how do you say? Oh, giving food. Help me out. Like giving food. I had my breakfast. Or still you give food by showing your gesture. Okay, then help me with my history notes. Yeah. Okay, you give me some sleep now. It'll be of great help. Then how do you help? How do you show your love? I'm not talking about the romantic love. Ah, I'm talking about the other side of love, a teacher-student love. How do you show me that you love me? Right knowledge. When you get good marks, respect me. Yeah. Discipline. Come on time. Getting it? Not watching it online. Are you getting it? Come. When you're paid for offline, come for offline. Class was so full. Look at them. I'll ask them to cut the online access now. Yeah. Then so as a teacher, see, I'm your teacher, you're my student. So our love is discipline, respect, knowledge, getting it punctuality. So this is the love what we have. I don't expect anything. Maybe you give food, I like take it. But are you getting smile? Are you getting this is what we call it as what love. Because your relationship and my relationship with both of us, Guru Shishya Parampara, it's totally different. So getting it to my daughter, I expect something. To my friend, I expect something. To my parents, I expect something. But what does Buddha say? Love all. That all is all. Donkey, monkey, tree, ant, rhinoceros, hippopotamus. Are you getting it? So don't ask me, ma'am, animal, all. Getting it? So that's what Buddha says. You have to have a practice of Maitri. Karuna is empathy. Empathy, getting into the shoes of others and taking their pain. Karuna. Not sympathy, empathy. What is sympathy? Sympathy is you feeling bad and you're showing that you're with them. You sympathize. Whatever they feel, you sympathize. But what is empathy? Getting into their shoes and feeling that pain and trying to help them out. Sympathy is like, oh, I'm feeling so bad. Okay, take care. Going. Empathy is like, I'm with you. I understand you. Why do you undergo this? So I just make sure that I help you out. I see someone suffering. I'm just seeing it. Okay, what happened? So sad. I go. That is sympathizing. I feel bad. I move. But what is empathizing? I be with them. I ask them, what do you want? Getting into the pain. I feel the pain like my pain. That is empathy. That's called karuna. A Buddhist, if someone is suffering, get into the shoes of others and help them like as if it's your pain. We have to take the pain like what? Because we have empathy and these all are with pain. When you're happy, I don't empathize with you. When you're happy, when you're full of joy, I don't sympathize with you. These two terms come when it's negative. Don't you think it's in pain? When you're in distress, when you're upset, when negative things are tormenting, only then these words are used. So which means what? Buddha said life is full of suffering. When someone suffers, empathize with them. That's called karuna. The next one is mudita. Mudita is joy over others' success. Joy over others' success. When your friend clears UPSC, celebrate it like your success. Are we doing it? My friend cleared. I didn't clear. Gone. No, nirvana. Are you getting it? No nirvana. Oh, that's jealousy. So getting it. So when friend attains nirvana, celebrate it like your no nirvana. So who will be the next one to attain nirvana? You will be the next one. So when your friend clear prelims now, cherish it like your prelim. Celebrate, not party. Celebrate. Whenever I have to use appropriate words. Ma'am said celebrate. Are you getting it? Ma'am said celebrate means people do not know what is celebration also now. Everything we have to tell them. As I told you, my daughter said disgusting. Are you getting it? So certain terms are like, very heavy, but we use it very casually. So celebrate other success. See, when Amrapali attained nirvana, Ananda and Upali were like, how could she attain? That's why Ananda and Upali never attained nirvana. Are you getting it? But Amrapali did attain. Because why? They were like shocked. They were jealous. So you have to overcome that. You don't get this feel by birth. You get it as a practice. That's what it's virtue. Mudita. Upeksha means inner peace. Come what may, be at peace. Come what may. Tsunami is going to come tomorrow. Peace. It's okay. That's life. Are you get whatever it is? Imagine. That's why you're sitting here. That's why Buddha was there. That's why we all are sitting here. Don't you think else we all would have been there in the forest? Because whatever happens, Buddha was like, inner peace. See, during our lockdown, our Prime Minister said something to overcome the pandemic. That time, Kovind was our president. So, our president and Prime Minister during the pandemic first lockdown. So, they said something to maintain this pandemic, youth should learn Buddhism, was a statement given by our Prime Minister. Which means what? Which part did he take? He took the virtue part only. So because we always so much, not we all, many were stressed out with COVID. I was so happy during COVID. Are you getting? Because we were at home, we were not going anywhere. At least I took it in that way. I had some rest. So for me, it was like, I was in my hometown. After years, I was there. So I took it in that way. I change everything to positivity so that it doesn't hurt. Something negative happens, I'm like, it's okay, karma. So when you put the blame on karma, Rita, and all of them, you feel light. So I keep changing like that. So, it said to overcome, COVID, learn what Buddhism. So why? Because Buddhism teaches you some virtues to be calm, to be composed, to accept the situation as it was. At times we'll have a situation which is very bad. We can't run away from it, but you have to understand and you have to be a part. That is what Buddha says. What upeksha? A Buddhist should practice upeksha, which is inner peace. So these are the 4 cardinal virtues. The next one, the text of Buddhism. Take the numbers. I think it should be F, na? Yeah. So the text of Buddhism. Text. So what are the texts of Buddhism called? It's called as three Pitakas. The text of Buddhism is called Tripitakas. In collectively, we use the term. What is Tripitaka? When you put Tripitaka, it's 3. Pitakas means baskets. So 3 baskets. The text of Buddhism, it's called Tripitaka. Baskets. So baskets of what? Baskets of knowledge. So the first Pitaka, it's called Sutta Pitaka. Start writing. Sutta Pitaka. The second one, it's called Vinaya Pitaka. The third Pitaka, yesterday we had this in our prelims, Vinaya, Shakya Muni. Getting it, ma? So some terms are coming. We've not done certain topic, but still, Sutta Vinaya Abhidhamma Pitaka. Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Collectively, these 3 are called Tripitaka. So what do you have in Sutta? In Sutta Pitaka, it contains the teachings of Lord Buddha. It contains teachings of Buddha. So whatever I've taught you so far, we take it from Sutta. Vinaya has got rules and regulations for the monks. Vinaya has got rules and regulation for the monks. Abhidhamma has got the Jataka tales. So Abhidhamma has got the Jataka tales. And what are Jataka tales, ma? Life historic stories. Write it, I'll explain. Life historic stories of Buddha. Life historic stories of Buddha. So that's called Jataka tale. I told you some stories. Take it, man. Write it down. Maybe a bit faster. So, the rules and regulations for the monks. Bhikkhu, Bhikshuni, all of them. Shall we go? Tripitaka. So there are 3 Pitaka, collectively called Tripitaka. What does Pitaka mean in Pali? And what language was Tripitakas written? 3 Pitakas were written in Pali. See, all Buddhist literature in Pali, you can close your eyes and write. All Jain text in Prakrit. Keep that in mind. Hereafter, all Buddhist texts will be in which language? Pali, because they followed Buddha's path. All Jain text will be in Prakrit. Though the Angas were created in Ardha Magadhi, Angas created in Ardha Magadhi, later the language will keep changing, but know the language of each and every text. So who wrote Sutta? Ananda wrote Sutta Pitaka. Who wrote Vinaya? Upali wrote Vinaya. Who wrote Abhidhamma Pitaka? It was Mogaliputta Tissa. Learn the name, ma? Learn the names. Who wrote what? Sutta was written by Ananda. You know Ananda? So he wrote everything. He was a close associate of Buddha, we know that. Upali wrote Vinaya, the rules and regulations for all the monks. Say, for example, Buddha says, do not add too much of salt in your food. Do not, are you getting, wear chappal. Chappal, I think, we don't say sandals because sandals concept came later. Slippers, wear slippers. Like, slip on, like that, wear that. But do not wear slippers every time. Whenever you're walking on thorns or in a forest, or when you're walking on a different region where your soles will get hurt, then wear. Predominantly remove your chappal. So Buddha was telling something like that. But don't you think today we keep on wearing slippers? Except, only in the houses we tend to remove. But some people even do wear it inside. 24 into 7 we are seeing with them with slippers. So in today's life, see, it might look very simple. But in those days, people were barefooted only. So wearing slippers only when they travel, when they walk. Buddhist monk used to travel. So like that, Buddha said, do not accept gold and silver from the public. Never wear a garland. That's a rule. Why do you wear, who wears a garland? During weddings and all, you see, the bride and the groom will wear. Then monks, today people wear. The rishis, the monks, we garland them. But garland is something like people wear, whoever with royalty only uses garland. So Buddha said, we are all simple human. So do not use garland. Do not accept gold. Like that, Buddha has given lots of rule. And when women entered, the Vinaya Pitaka rules became even more tightened. Women had more rules because, as I keep on telling you, when women comes into the picture, lots of allied things will happen. I told you the Buddhist monk will carry one bag. Now the bag of a woman would be even more bigger. Don't you think generally the size of the handbag would be bigger for women? Because we carry multiple stuffs inside. Are you getting it? So automatically what happened? They were given two bags. So lots of blankets, lots of dress inside. So don't you think these are all additional burden? For Buddhist monks, it would be burden. For Buddha, it was not. But later, don't you think when more women started coming, all these you need to give them? Because Sangha need to deliver all of them. That became a problem gradually. See, these all, so we need to understand with that point of time. Even today, when women travel, imagine 15 days a woman need to travel. Her bag would be bigger than a men's bag. Don't you think so? That's very, very normal, very natural. Because that's how it was. So naturally, the Vinaya for women were more, and Vinaya for men were less. So Upali drafted it because Upali was there with Buddha. Then Abhidhamma Pitaka, the Jataka tales were written by a monk called Mogaliputta Tissa. This was asked in one PYQ. Mogaliputta was the answer. I'll tell you why. Getting it? So done with text of Buddhism. Now tilt your notebook horizontally. Heading would be the four Buddhist councils. This will be G, ma. Clear? G, na? E, F, G. Your number, your place, the king, the monk, or you can call him as the president. Then we have the text. So the first Buddhist council was held in the year 483 BC at Rajgir. The king was Ajatasattu. So I didn't tell you why, but we are going to do it now. The monk was Mahakashyapa. Hold on with the text. Just copy this, ma. The second Buddhist council was held in 383 BC. Good. At Vaishali. The king was Kalasoka, and the monk here was Sabakami. The third Buddhist council was held in 250 BC at Patliputra. The king would be Ashoka, and here the monk is Mogaliputta Tissa. Just copy them. The fourth Buddhist council was held in 72 AD at a place called Kundalavana. Kundalavana, which is in today's Kashmir. And the king was Kanishka, and the monk was Vasumitra. Vasumitra. 483 is where Buddha died. This is the year of Buddha's death. Buddha died in 483. Remember 563? So I've given you the year. Minus it with 80 because Buddha died at the age of 80. So he died in 483. The moment Buddha died, who was a Magadhan ruler, Ajatasattu, he felt so bad. Buddha died. So he was not able to digest Buddha's death. He felt so bad and he wanted to know the reason of why Buddha died. Now Buddha is 80 years old. He's in a deep forest. They have to cross the forest and they have to come to Kushinagar. That's the plan. Getting it there in the Malla Mahajanapata. So now early morning they started walking in the forest. So that by afternoon they reach the city Kushinagar. That was a plan. All the Buddhist monks are walking. It's a monsoon season. And they didn't expect anything. They thought, okay, they'll cross the forest. But the moment they started walking in the morning, it was heavily raining. Heavy rain, downpour was actually pouring. They got into the forest, they got stuck in the forest. When they got stuck in the forest, they got drenched completely. No shelter, nothing. Imagine morning it's raining. They walked. Now it's afternoon, still it's raining. Imagine how would the body be? They all started shivering. Complete rain, and the rain did not stop at all. So immediately what happened? Now it's evening. Buddha started getting fever. 80-year-old man, imagine from morning till evening you're in the rain. So they couldn't do anything, no shelter. They were trying to take some shelter under a tree, but they could not. Now it's almost evening. Imagine from morning they didn't eat anything. They didn't stay anywhere. They couldn't sit anywhere because it was raining. And what is the point when you sit in a rain, and what is the point you walk on a rain? It's better if we start traveling. So they decided they'll walk. So many monks fell sick and all of them, but they tried so hard to protect Buddha. Buddha started coughing. Buddha couldn't walk. So they tried to hold Buddha and they were all coming. Now it's night. Almost, the sun started to set. Almost, it's night. And imagine how it would be during a rainy season. So they are all in the forest only. Now the rain has a little bit, got lessened. So from a distance, they saw a hut. The moment they saw a hut, it's a folklore. Again, the story is a folklore, but we take it as a fact here to understand a point. Here I'm teaching you a point to understand. That's it. Getting it? And there was a hut there. So Ananda ran towards the hut and he knocked the door. A single man opened the hut. A hut man was there. So immediately he said, we all are drenched completely. Can you give us some shelter? That man was blinking. Suddenly someone coming inside. So and Ananda told, the Buddha is coming. So immediately he gave shelter and everyone couldn't accommodate. But still, there were some provisions. Buddha was inside. Fire was lit. Buddha was getting himself, some warmth and all of them. And the change of clothes and all of them, nothing was there. So immediately Buddha asked the hut man, who are you? Why are you here all alone? He said, I'm a hunter, a tribal. I'm a tribe. I'm a hunter. So I used to, hunt animals here. 3 days, 4 days I used to stay here. After that, I used to go to the city, sell my meat. So all of them, Buddha heard it and Buddha immediately said, do you have something to eat? I'm so hungry. So he said, Buddha, can you give me a few minutes time? I'll cook food and come. He just entered the forest. He caught a pig. He took a pig, he cut a pig, then he cooked pig. And when you cook pig, it's called pork. He served pork to Buddha. The moment he served it, Buddha ate pork. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I need to teach you a fact here. So which means meat eating was allowed in Buddhism. In Mahavir Jainism, not allowed. So are you getting it? So anything served with love, you eat. Buddha ate pork. The moment he ate pork, after a few minutes, Buddha started vomiting. See, that was a wild pig, that didn't suit Buddha. Because the other monks were all fine. Buddha was not fine. Some sort of indigestion or food poison. Something happened. Buddha started vomiting. The moment Buddha started vomiting, all the other monks started suspecting the hut man that he might have poisoned. They all went to hit him. So Buddha said, stop. He served things with love. How do he know that pork will suit me or not suit me? Remember I told you something? Anything served with love, you eat it. But there was no choice for Buddha. At that point of time, your life is important. It's like man in the wild. You're going to die. You have nothing to eat. Man in the wild. I hope you get it. So when there's no other option, you're going to die. You can eat what is available. That is Buddhism. So Buddhism is giving a small relaxation. You can't cut meat for pleasure. You can't eat an animal for pleasure. But when there is no other choice, you can consume meat. Was Buddhism. After eating, he started puking, vomiting. So immediately Ananda and Upali said, which is a nearby city? How do we go? The hutman said, I have my bullock cart, a kind of a rugged vehicle. So immediately Buddha was put in the bullock cart. Ananda told Buddha, just lean on my shoulder. I will take you to the city. And Upali, they all started coming behind the cart. And Buddha went to Kushinagar. They placed him. Many Vaidyas, physicians came and they attended Buddha. His pulse rate was coming down. So Buddha told Ananda, see, don't disturb me. That wet, from morning he was in the rain. All that hunger, all that feel, vomiting and all diarrhea, all them made Buddha so confused. So Buddha was so tired. So he told Ananda, I think I'm going to die. So let me sleep. I'm feeling sleepy. I'm not able to open my eyes. Let me sleep. So the moment he went to sleep, Ananda shook him, Buddha died. So this is how Buddha died. The moment Buddha died, Ajatasattu was a Magadhan ruler. He wanted to know what happened to Buddha. Mallas cremated him, ashes are buried, all done. Now Ajatasattu calls Ananda and Upali to Magadha, asking them what happened, how did Buddha die? So they narrated the entire story because they were there with Buddha. So the moment, Ajatasattu was very smart, he told Ananda and Upali, you both were there with Buddha. You know each and everything of Buddha. See, Buddha met Ananda and Upali when Buddha was 32 years old, approximately. Ananda and Upali were 16 and 17 when they met Buddha. And now imagine now Buddha is 80, he died. So imagine the journey of Ananda and Upali with Buddha. They know everything. Ananda was like a right hand for Buddha. He knew everything of Buddha. So now Ananda, Ajatasattu tells them, let's convene a council. I will convene a council. Let's write the text of Buddhism. I do not want the Buddhist teachings to go on air. Like Purvas, I don't want it to go on air. I want to document it. So what happened in 483 BC at Rajgir? The first Buddhist council was convened. Mahakashyapa was the president. So who was Mahakashyapa? He was the Buddha. After Buddha died, who's the Buddha? Mahaki is the monk, the president. So here what happened? Sutta and Vinaya was created. So in the first Buddhist council, Sutta Pitaka and Vinaya Pitaka was created. So in which council Sutta was written? First council. Who wrote Sutta? Ananda. Who wrote Vinaya? Upali. Are you getting the line? Get the continuation. Sutta and Vinaya was created. Now things were all fine. Buddha died, Ananda died, Upali died. Now we're coming to next 100 years. The year is 383. The place is Vaishali. The king is Kalasoka. Now what was the issue here? Some Buddhist monks do not want the Vinaya to be so hard. Vinaya was very strict. See, don't wear slippers. Do not eat meal whenever you want. These were all the rules were getting tough for monks to follow. When society changed, don't you think rules have to change? So society is almost changed now. It's almost 100 years. But the rules were still the old. So monks found it very difficult. So some monks met the president called Sabakami, the monk. He was the Buddha. And asked him, can you relax Vinay Pitaka? Because it's very difficult for us to survive. So what happened? They all went to Kalasoka and the second Buddhist council was convened. Here what was altered? Vinaya was altered. So they relaxed Vinay Pitaka. The tight rules of Vinay Pitaka was relaxed. In which council? The second Buddhist council, it was relaxed. So clear? Vinaya was relaxed. Now what happened? Just a small story to give you an idea. Some of the monks here started fighting. They didn't allow this council to happen. Why? Because they were all like, why do you amend Vinaya? Let society grow, let the society change. Why do you want to alter Vinay Pitaka? We will not allow you to alter. Let's follow the old strict discipline only. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. So there is a quarrel happening. So under the table, just write it. In the second council, a quarrel occurred between two group of monks regarding the Vinay Pitaka. The first group of monks refused to accept the new Vinaya. The first group of monks refused to accept the new Vinaya. Clear? They were called as, refused to accept the new Vinaya. They were called as Thera. Thera means old in Buddhism. They refused, Theravada, have you heard? They are that one. So they refused to accept the new Vinaya. They were called as Thera. Thera. So who are Theras in Buddhism? Old people who are following that old Buddhism. Getting it? The second set of monks who altered the Vinay Pitaka were called as Mahasangikas. So who's a Mahasangika? Who accepted the altered Vinaya. Getting it? So these are the names. Just know them. In Buddhism, I'm teaching you some name. Mahasangika refers to people who had altered the Vinaya. So some people who do not accept the Vinaya, altered Vinaya, old one, they were called Thera. So can we say a small quarrel occurred in the second council? That's it. Now coming on to the third council. The story is over. I'll keep connecting it. But just know the facts. Now they're fighting. These two monks will be fighting. So one Buddha's Vinaya. One will follow the altered Vinaya. There are two groups. One will wear chappals. One will eat whenever they want. One will add salt, sugar according to them. Are you getting it, ma? So one will wake up anytime when they want. Buddha said no to travel in the night. Only when circumstances, because Buddha himself traveled in the night. Remember when he entered the forest? So they got caught in the forest. plan everything in advance. So, but these people, they started traveling only in the night because night is calm. Buddha said, no, don't walk on a rainy day or a rainy day. But they kept on moving wherever they want. So that Vinay Pitaka got altered actually, completely they got altered. Buddha said, never use a pillow while sleeping. No pillow. But they started having comfortable pillows and comfortable mattresses. So are you getting, Buddhism became a luxury now. You go to the Sangha, you'll have a bed, you'll have a pillow, you'll have a chappal, you'll have lots of dress, you can eat whatever you want. Are you getting it? Because Buddha himself ate meat, right? So are you getting it? See, I'll tell you one small thing. Buddha said drink palm juice. Palm juice. Are you get? Buddha said drink palm juice so that you get lots of protein, so that you're energetic. Whey, W-H-E, whey, why? Whey protein. Buddha said drink whey. So getting whey is good for health. See, Buddha has given lots of health things to consume. So drink whey, drink, palm juice and all of them. So these monks started fermenting palm juice. When you ferment palm juice, alcohol. So are you getting, when you started asking these monks, they were like, Buddha told palm juice only. He never said ferment or unferment. Are you getting? So when people want to be corrupted, they become corrupted. There'll be one chapter when you read Buddhism, decline of Buddhism. Don't read it now. Read it when I teach you Guptas. Because decline of Buddhism happened only during Guptan age. So these are all the Sangha got corrupted. Monks started living a life of luxury. Kings started giving them lots of donation. So they started wearing golden ornaments. They started decorating themselves with silk robe. Buddha said wear only cotton robes. Cotton. But here they started decorating them with silk robes. They were dressing up equal like a king. They were wearing all sorts of ornaments and all of them. So how does common people look at it? They were looking, what is this? It's a kind of a doctrine to attain moksha. But people here are like showing it off. So that is also one reason, Buddhism started declining. See, when a leader dies, a sect will be divided. Even imagine when a leader dies in a party breaks into two. That's very natural, because the core idea with time will get diluted. So that shows that Vinaya was altered here. Now we are in 250 BC. I'm not taught Ashoka so far. Ashoka is a Mauryan ruler. So now Ashoka became a Buddhist. I'll tell you the story with Ashoka. He was very much fascinated with Buddhism, and now he wanted to hear lots about Buddhism. So at that time, who was the Buddha, like Dalai Lama? Moggalliputta Tissa was the Buddha. So Ashoka welcomed him to Patliputra. Moggalliputta came to Patliputra and Ashoka asked him, tell me more about Buddha. I want to hear more about Buddha. So now Moggalliputta teaches Ashoka about his early life. Maya was pregnant. So then, remember that monk came, that story. He's narrating that story. Ashoka asked Moggalliputta Tissa, no one told me this. I never knew the early life of Buddha. How do you know it? The monk said, we keep on passing it on to the, in the Sangha. Because when you study about a teacher or someone, don't you think we study about them first? How did they become a philosopher? To study Karl Marx, you need to know who was Karl Marx. Where was he born? Where did he study? How did Engels inspire him? How does his teacher Hegel inspire him? How did they both collaborate together? Why do we call Engels was an industrialist? He was a rich man. So what happened? What did they do there? Why did they go to Switzerland? Then why did they come back to Germany? What made Karl Marx think? What did Karl Marx see and get hurt? Then when did he write his Das Kapital, Communist Manifesto? If you know it like a story, only you will understand the book. You can't say, okay, the Karl Marx did this. Why? Now you know why did Mahavir became Mahavir? Because from childhood, that imprint, what his teacher told him that moksha is not for you, made him to attain moksha. Don't you think? So when you know, that's what is a charming part of history. You know the early life of people. Why did Akbar become Akbar? Akbar did not become Akbar like this. Something made Akbar the Great. It's because his childhood was something. So when you know that, you study. Hitler, why did Hitler write the Mein Kampf? Getting it from my struggle. When you read that, it's very painful. It's a painful one, actually. But when you read that, you'll understand why Hitler became so brutal. We are not justifying it. I'm not saying Hitler was good and all. I'm just here to teach you, if you know the background, why he was so much hating the Jews. The Jewish community. The moment you say Jew, the J itself, Hitler will kill you. He can't even hear that spelling, Jew. You say Jew, he'll kill. He was that much of hatred. Why? Why so much of hatredness towards a particular group, which means something has happened? Without that something, that nothing would have come out. So when you know the background, only you will understand why. So always, why Ashoka was so much inclined? Because he wanted to know more about Buddha. And suddenly, when someone is telling that, he was like this, he had this life, his wife was Yashodhara, son was Rahul. So Ashoka was very much impressed. He was like, why don't you teach this to all of us? So Moggalliputta Tissa said, no, we teach the story only to the monks to tell that Buddha was born at Sakya clan, Sakya Muni, all that. Remember in PYQ, Sakya Muni was there, title. So all these, so now Ashoka tells him that, can you write this storybook? Why can't you write it? So Moggalliputta Tissa writes what Pitaka? The Abhidhamma Pitaka. So in the third Buddhist council, Abhidhamma Pitaka was created and 3 Pitakas were named. 3 Pitakas? 3 Pitakas were named. So in which council they are merging Sutta, Vinaya and Abhidhamma? Third council. Only in third council it's becoming 3 Pitaka. In the first 2 council it was only 2 Pitaka. Sutta Vinaya, Sutta Vinaya. So when does the term 3 Pitakas come? 250 BC, third council. So who was the monk who wrote Abhidhamma Pitaka? Now come here. Abhidhamma Pitaka, who wrote it? Moggalliputta Tissa. So can we say he's a contemporary of Ashoka? You got your answer? Getting it? So this is what happened. Now these 3 Pitakas become what? So whoever wants to learn Buddhism has to learn Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. Only then you'll try to understand everything. And Abhidhamma has got what? The Kathavatu, that is the Jataka tale. What is Katha? Story. So what does Abhidhamma Pitaka have? It has got the Jataka tale. The life historic stories of Buddha is mentioned in which Pitaka? Abhidhamma Pitaka. I told you about the Amrapali story. I told you about the death story. Lots of stories we have. Some may be metaphysical. That's why, Jataka tales are considered to be metaphysical. You can add it here. What is metaphysics? Something which is like beyond our control, superficial, magical power. Buddha was shown as if he's a magical person, like a magic, some superpower. Buddha is possessing some superpower. So they're creating stories like that for Buddha. But was Buddha like that? Are you getting it? So I'll tell you one small story to make you understand again. There's a story in Jataka. One man, he challenged Buddha, telling that, how do you portray that you are great? So immediately Buddha told him, just close your eyes and open. It's a metaphysical story. Getting it? One man challenged. One man he didn't like Buddha. He wanted to tell Buddha that you're nothing, you're waste and all of them. So he came to Buddha and said, how do you prove yourself to be a great man? Buddha just told him that close your eyes and open. So this man, this is happening at Vaishali. He closed his eyes and he opened. The moment he opened, he was shocked because Buddha performed a magic by showing 1,000 Buddhas behind him. You will find it somewhere, whenever you read, anywhere. Buddha performed a miracle by showing 1,000 Buddhas to that merchant. So how can Buddha show 1,000 Buddha? Behind me, there are 1,000 Kritika. Imagine, open your eyes and open it, you will see thousands of Kritika. How would that happen? It's a kind of a magic. So when Buddha performed that, that man was shocked. He immediately said, Buddha. So don't you think they're trying to portray Buddha like a god? Like a, superpower man who's possessing some supernatural power? That is what Abhidhamma has. So Abhidhamma is great, giving all these. Some saints, they'll take something from their mouth, they'll show, they will do this and something will come. Don't you think God-man? God-man, a man who's behaving like God. There are many God-man in India, don't you think so? Like that, Buddha is portrayed like a God-man. He'll do something. Are you getting? So all of them are like, like a mystic. Who's a mystic? Mystics. We say Sufis are mystic. All the Sufi saints, they're mystic. Who's that? Who performs some magic, who has some magical power. So Buddha is portrayed like that here. But in reality, did Buddha have it? In reality, Buddha did not have. There's another story. This is a common story I think many of you would have heard. Buddha was bald, completely no hair. He was sitting under the scorchy sun and he was giving a teaching. So it was very hot. Imagine when no hair, direct sun coming onto the head. Buddha was feeling the heat. So when Buddha was like, he was just doing some symptoms like it's very hot, but he's trying to control. Body is not cooperating. So immediately what happened? There were some snails. They were all walking and going there. So all the snails thought, okay, come on, Buddha is feeling so hot. Why can't we help Buddha? So all the snails, they gathered together. They had a talk with each other. They all came, they climbed Buddha and they just covered Buddha's head. So the moment they covered Buddha's head, it became like this. So it's called the snail story. So who protected Buddha's head from the heat? Snail. That is why Buddha's hair is like this. Buddha's hair is like this. It's a story. It's a story. That's what don't ask me. Will snails come and do that first? That's what. Today it's a religion. So we have to respect that. So I'm not touching it. Are you getting it? So Lord Shiva will come and he'll do something. We are like, okay, Shiva, you do it, fine. Hanuman carries a mountain. We are like, okay, fine. One student asked me, Ma'am, what was the gravity? I'm like, go ask Hanuman. Why do you ask me? I'm not your physics teacher to teach that. Are you getting it? So it's a religion, so we don't go beyond. Today it's Buddha is a god. So are you getting it? So Buddha performed, that snails gathered together in Buddha's head. It's a story in Jataka. Later, when the Greeks, Indo-Greeks, started studying the Jataka in detail, they started to make a hairstyle for Buddha. That's why all Buddhist statues got which hairstyle? This hairstyle. But look at Chinese Buddha. Have you heard laughing Buddha? How does he? Does he have hair? He doesn't have hair. Why? Because Chinese, they don't have hair at that point of time. So Buddha was completely bald. When Buddhism went to China, they adopted this. Many of our Indian monks took Buddhism abroad. When they took it abroad, they took the original text only. And look at their Buddha. How does laughing Buddha look? How does Buddha look? Chubby cheek, very, very cute. Na dimple chin, the rosy eye, bulging belly. Are you getting? He looks so cute, na? Yeah, of course. My laughing Buddha is why? Because Chinese. Look at the eyes. Very small eyes. Why? My God will look like me, isn't it? My goddess Saraswati will look like me. If you look at us, she'll be dark skinned. She'll be wearing a proper sari. She'll have lots of flowers in her hair. She'll be wearing the big, big jhumkas, that South Indian traditional jewelry, and she'll be holding a veena. Simple. My God will look like me. So your God will look like you. My Shiva will look like our South Indian Shiva. He'll be dark skinned. He'll be wearing a dhoti, lungi. Yeah, our Shiva wears a dhoti only. Here Shiva wears a tiger skin. Yeah, here Shiva wears a tiger skin. Why? Culture plays an important role. Here Shiva wears one big bali, like one earring. There Shiva wears a stud. Why? Ornaments also culture. Don't you think so? Sita, Ram, Sita. When you look at Ram, Sita there, their clothing are so different. Sita wears a sari there. We've draped Sita with a sari. Here Sita, a sari, another statue, some statue according to the costumes, what we have it here, the order Akshardham. Go to Akshardham, you see Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesh, Ram, Sita, everyone. So getting a culture plays a very important role. Why? Because my God will, don't you think my Shiva will speak Tamil? Of course, my Shiva will speak Tamil. I give him idli every day. My God will eat idli. My God will speak Tamil. He knows Tamil. My Jesus will speak Tamil to me. My Allah will speak in Tamil. You can't say, ma'am, he doesn't know. God is multilingual. Don't you think your God will speak in Hindi, ma? Come on, my God will speak in Tamil. What language do you dream? You dream in your mother tongue. That's your language. I don't dream in English. I'm a Tamil. I dream in. So my Shiva will talk to me in Tamil only. I don't dream in English. So if you dream in English, then you're English. I don't know. Maybe English is dominating with you. Which language is dominating? That language you start getting that in your dream. Have you ever thought about it? Okay, think about it. Never thought, think. Ma'am is making you think. That's language. Language is so powerful. Subconscious mind will be in your mother tongue only. Yes? You think, you start creating and thinking something new. In which language? Mother tongue. You want to scold someone, you'll first put it in your mother tongue. Then you'll translate it, then scold. Are you getting? Everything we do it in our mother tongue. Mother tongue is so powerful. That's why it's called mother tongue. Today people say, my daughter asked me, I'm a father's tongue. I'm like, my God, Paleolithic brain, you keep asking me lots of doubts. Getting it, it's okay. Because in those days, that's how it was. Mothers used to teach children, so mother tongue. Mothers used to take care of children, so young mothers were not allowed. So again, mothers only used to raise the children, so mother only was the teacher of the child. So in those days, that is how culture was. Today we are changing for everything. Father teaches us. For me, my mother taught me nothing. My father only taught me everything. So which means, but colloquially when we speak, what do we say? We say what? Mother, mother. All good things comes, father will take the name. Are you getting? Whenever I do something wrong, my father will immediately tell my mother, see, look at you. Look at you. What she's done. Look at you. When I get some prizes and all of them, my father, look at my daughter, like me. I'm like, I used to tell him, Appa, all good things you take the name. All bad things Amma has to take. She didn't raise you properly. Then where were you? Today we asked that. I did ask my father. My father then started telling me, okay, ma, hereafter I'll not utter that word. I said, Appa, don't never do that. Poor mother, what will she do? Cooking and serving entire life and all bad things. I did a mistake. Blame me. Why do you blame her? You want to give one pat, give pat to me. But I do give pat also, you need to have a reason to give pat. No one should give pat just like that. I don't allow people to just give like that. Even you birth someone, you don't have that. But if you're at mistake, give me a pat. It's okay, fine. But still, why do you blame? Today, that culture, we are changing it. Someone will try to make us, think. But in those days, that was all not there. Things were all moving on. So Buddha was performing. So these are all the Jataka tales. So could you see that, ma? Could you see some images here? That snails and all of them, something. It's a story. That's what Buddha's hair is actually not hair, 108 snail. That's okay. Everyone interpret accordingly. But could you see that? Small story. These are all there in Jataka. Later, when Indo-Greeks, look at that snail, you could see that small twist, the curl. Are you again? Later, when Indo-Greeks started advancing them, then what happened? Could you see it? Buddha snail, something. Don't watch and all. I'm just trying to make you. These are all story. Again, I'm telling you. Don't write it in your answer sheet. But Jataka has them all. But do you know that if I tell this to a person who doesn't know the story, they'll automatically think, okay, Buddha has got a hairstyle like this. Maybe he made a small curl, he made it like this, pinned it up, then some spray. We think like that, na? Today people do. Yeah, my son, he does like this. I tell him, don't do it. He's like Amma style, 2-year-old. Imagine the influence of Delhi. Are you getting it? 2-year-old. He's just 2 year. He's playing, he's doing something like this. I comb his hair, do everything. I take one National Highway Authority of India. From here, I open 2 paths. That's how Indian parents do. He immediately, the moment I go this side, he'll do everything and he'll do. Because my husband does that spray and all. So he says, Amma, that spray. I told you, want spray, I'll take Olini and spray on you. Run away. Getting it? So kids are like, so it's not a hairstyle. This is just a story. So this is what we get it where? At Abhidhamma Pitaka. So clear? Third council. Now we are moving on to the fourth council. We'll do Ashoka. There are some things to teach there, but we'll do it once we study Ashoka, not here. Next one. So now the year is 72 AD. We've come to AD. Jesus is born. So 72 AD. Who was a Kushan ruler? Kanishka. The entire North India was under Kanishka. Now Kanishka is at Kashmir. The place is Srinagar. The old name of Srinagar is Kundala Vana. Kanishka was the one who built Srinagar, the capital of Kashmir. That is Kundalavana. So there they're standing near the Dal Lake. Near that lake, they're standing there. And now what happened? They're trying to convene a council. Now what happened? Kanishka was very much inclined towards Buddhism. He was like very much attracted towards Buddhism. And when he kept on learning Buddhism for many years, Kanishka found one thing, that this Buddha is God. So immediately, that feel started coming for Kanishka after learning Abhidhamma Pitaka and all of them. So he calls the Buddha. Who is the Buddha? Vasumitra, and asks Vasumitra, isn't Buddha God? So Vasumitra says, yeah, he was God. Why don't we make him God? Are you getting? We'll make him God. So immediately what happened? Everyone are like, okay, Buddha is going to be God. Buddha is going to be God. So immediately what happened? Why are they convening the council? To make whom as God? Buddha God. Plus, they're going to add some commentaries to the existing Buddhist text. There are many Buddhist texts. They wanted to elaborate them and write lots in all the Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. They wanted to elaborate the book. So a big council was convened with the president whom? Vasumitra. And in this council, what happened then? When they were preparing all of them, one old monk came to the council. So add on Ashwaghosa. Add. But who was the president? President was Vasumitra. Ashwaghosa. He also came to that council. So Ashwaghosa and Kanishka were in good terms. Kanishka and Ashwaghosa were in good terms only. Ashwaghosa came to the council. Now Ashwaghosa asked Kanishka, I heard something. Is that true? So Kanishka asked him, yeah, monk, tell me, what did you hear? Are you planning to make Buddha as God? So Kanishka said, yes, Buddha is God, right? He's God. Look at the Abhidhamma. So Ashwaghosa said, Buddha is not God. How can Buddha be God? He was a teacher. He was a leader. And we are following the teachings of Buddha. He is not God. Now they both began to quarrel. So in the quarrel, what happened? A split occurred. Just write it. Who quarreled? Ashwaghosa and Vasumitra, which means Kanishka quarreled. A split occurred. Write it, ma. A split occurred. The table is over.